Our cool weather continues into the weekend. In fact, it's early next week. And in fact, it may actually get even cooler than it is. And we are watching Tropical Storm Melissa, which really hasn't done much of anything today in terms of strengthening. Looks pretty ragged, actually. But we'll fill you in on all the gory details and so much more on this Thursday night Joe and Joe Weather Show. And you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show. How, you ask? Well, if you shop on
How?
Amazon, yes, if you shop on Amazon, use our referral link that is on the description to this podcast on YouTube. It's very simple. Just click on the link, do your shopping, buy whatever it is you're going to get. Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. And it's a good thing because if enough people do that, we can keep the podcast commercial free, at least the live version commercial free. So thank you very much for those of you who have used our Amazon link to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And if you're shopping for a weather station, particularly now that we're heading toward the holidays, think about Tempest by Weatherflow. It's the revolutionary Tempest weather system. You'll be part of the fastest growing weather network on the planet. Also, easy to install, runs on solar power, which is great. And it's off your mobile device, unless you want a wall monitor, which you can get one of those too. The link for this tonight is pinned to the top of the chat board. It's also on the description to this podcast. And for anything you buy, there's a coupon code. And Joe Rayo is guarding that coupon code secret, but he's going to let that secret out tonight, aren't you?
We're going to tell you the secret. The secret is.
Autumn 2025.
I knew he would know that. And if he does, or if you do, use that coupon code, you will receive 10% off.
That's right. Exactly. So we knew the Canadian model was crap yesterday, and that kind of proved itself out on the very next run. So there's no need to go back to discuss it. Melissa's not really doing very much. And we could lay that aside for a second and focus on the fact that the weather should be quite nice for the weekend. And the temperatures are going to be trending a little lower as we go through the weekend and into early next week. Isn't that right, Mr. Ray?
Yes, and the big question is now exactly when are we going to see any significant precipitation around here?
And when is that?
Well, it could be Tuesday if you believe that we'll have an onshore wind bringing in moisture that perhaps will translate into some light rain or drizzle. It could be Wednesday as a storm takes form along the mid-Atlantic coast, or it could be Thursday when we'll have, possibly some significant rainfall to deal with. But whatever we deal with, it's going to be slow to arrive and slow to develop.
And I think that pretty well covers it. The weather's been beautiful here. I got down to 33 this morning, Joe. There was actually in some places a little touch of frost on the ground, which was not quite nice, actually.
Now, does that mean that the growing season has ended in
Oh, yeah.
Chiappyville, or?
It is. It has ended, and indeed. So we're done. We're done. Actually, the leaves have been turning some beautiful colors here this year. It's very impressive.
They haven't been very impressive up here, but I think that's partially due to the fact that it was such a dry spell that we went through during late August and September. We really didn't get really enough moisture as we headed down the home stretch, so to speak. So that it's a lot more brown and yellow as opposed to orange and reds this particular year.
Gotcha. I'm trying to hold back a sneeze, which is always so hard. Let me look at the light. That usually does it. Okay.
Yeah.
Go into the crossover, children. All are welcome. All welcome. Go into the light. Anyway, we have a nice crowd tonight. Welcome to everybody on the chat board. Thank you, Chuck Cardillo. My cabinets were put in today. I was telling Joe Rayo before the show started, I really didn't do much of anything today other than watch.
Just sit back and watch.
Well, yeah, but I've watched them put the cabinets. There was nothing I could do. I had to run out a couple of times to pick up some stuff from Home Depot that was necessary. But other than that, I just basically watched them put the cabinets up all day. I am exhausted. It's just like wiped out for some reason. But anyway,
You should have televised
Cecilia
it.
Hernandez, they are top of the line craft made cabinets. They're maple, they're brown, and if you're on Facebook, I posted pictures. So if you'd like to see them, they're on Facebook. Anyway, welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board and those of you lurking in the background on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We love the lurkers too. Surprise, surprise, but we do. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. So we're going to be off the next 2 days, and we'll be back Sunday night. And we've been doing pretty well with the likes lately. So if you like the show, or if you like us, even just a teensy little bit, we appreciate very much that you hit the like button. So let us begin, shall we?
Surely.
Let's begin with Melissa. And this is the latest on the floater loop. You know, in some ways it looks a little less ragged than yesterday, but on the other hand, there's two distinct areas of convection. I can't see, quite honestly, I can't really see where the center of this is. And there's still shear going on. You can see clouds coming up off of South America, just kind of streaking northeastward. So that's telling you that there's still some westerly shear, which is supposed to relax, but so far has not. Yet a lot of the model guidance, not as preposterous as yesterday, Joe, with 195 knots, which was I think that's the highest I've ever seen it on a model. But the Hurricane Center is holding fast on the idea that we will see rapid strengthening once the shear goes away. But that's the big question. When is the shear going to go away?
Lonnie Quinn came up with an interesting comment tonight because of the attempt to try to track where this thing is going to go. He says, I have more confidence in knowing where this thing is going to be 9 days from now, as opposed to where it's going to be in the next 1 or 2 days.
There's a lot of truth in that statement. It's quite true. Jamaica on one side, which right now is actually enjoying some beautiful weather overall because all the moisture, all the blow up with rain bands are actually up over the Dominican Republic. Even Haiti is not terribly bad here when we look at the satellite loop. Clouds and some rain there, but the big bursts of convection remain offshore. And the hurricane center on the last advisory, which was at 5 o'clock, is at, hold on, here we go. 16.0 north, 75.5 west. Top winds have actually been dropped at 4 to 45 miles per hour, and it's moving north at 2.
Two.
2. 2. You can walk. You can walk faster. You can walk faster in an hour. Most people can walk between 3 and 4 miles an hour. No, this thing is it's crawling like an old lady, I guess, or an old man. They're steadfastly holding on to the track. We have tropical storm warnings up for Jamaica now, as well as the southern portion of Haiti, and a hurricane watch up for both Jamaica and the southern part of Haiti. So a lot of uncertainty here. You can see that the track remains, unchanged from yesterday in terms of the forecast, looking at a turn gradually toward the west, and they've got it as a major hurricane by Sunday morning. So impossible? No, maybe not. It depends. Again, if there's still shear around, the more shear there is, the weaker the system is. The weaker the system is, the more west it's going to move. So we'll see how it goes. Joseph Carr just banged the tip jar, Joe. Thank you very much, Joseph, for hitting Super Chat. And here's the intensity guidance tonight, which you've got some models that keep it a tropical storm all the way through. You've got some models that take it to a Cat 1 to a Cat 3, and we don't have any Cat 5s today, but we've got one, two, three
We almost had a
models that
cat.
take it to a Cat 4.
We almost had a cat 6 yesterday.
Well, that was yesterday. That was so preposterous that one of the models, I forgot which one it was, one of these intensity models, had it at 195 knots. Now, if you're writing an advisory with sustained winds of 195 knots, you're writing an advisory with sustained winds of 215 miles an hour. Okay. And on the Atlantic side, we have gone over that a number on the Pacific side, but on the Atlantic side, that was Hurricane Patricia back, I don't know how many years ago now. But on the Atlantic side, we've never gone to the a two handle on the wind. And here are the forecast model tracks. Just about all of them turn it westward. There's one outlier that goes north and then northeast. And then it's a matter of the turn to the north and northeast happens even after that westward motion. Some have it when it gets to eastern Jamaica and then turns it northeast. Others take it all the way to the other side of Jamaica before turning it toward the northeast and toward Cuba. So still a long ways to go here. It's going to be 5 or 6 days down in this position because the upper flow is just non-existent.
That's right, and that's exactly what Lonnie was saying. He was talking. He actually went into some. It only he only was on for about a minute, but I do credit him for talking about the explanation for the upper flow. And basically, Joe, he had two high pressure systems, one to the west of the storm, one to the east. He showed the uh, circulation of the two highs, the clockwise circulation, and pointing out that right now there's a battle between the two, kind of squeezing or holding that storm pretty much in place. But eventually, if you will believe what Joe has on the uh, map right now, the spaghetti plots, eventually most of the models are saying it's going to fire away to the northeast, and that's good news. It maybe not be good news if you live in parts of central or eastern Cuba, but eventually the storm will move out of the way. But as Lonnie mentioned, it's going to be a while before we see that storm take a definitive and quick track away to the north and east, or it looks like it's going to be pretty well stuck more or less in the same area for the next few days coming up.
There's a recon there right now, and it is a bit underwhelming here, Joe. The lowest pressure that they found, if you notice, it's not just one particular point. So it's not like usually when you get into something that's strengthening, or if it's a hurricane, you're going to see the pressure do like a V downward. But instead, the the area of low pressure is probably still on the broadish side. So it looks like it's around 1,003 millibars. So it actually hasn't really changed very much since yesterday. And the peak wind, couple of peak winds up at about 30 knots. So, I mean, if this is a tropical storm, it's probably barely a tropical storm at this point. And I just want to see if there's another mission. There's another one here. We did close off a center. And you notice, by the way, yeah, so 1,004. This was earlier today, but the thing that stands out here is all the winds on the west side are running 20 knots or less. Uh, Maybe a little bit higher in a few places to 25 in the darker, the bluish green. The stronger winds of 45 plus are all on the east side and well away from from the center. So it just tells you that this is really not a well-developed system at this point. And sometimes when you get into situations with shear, the models have a tough time with it, and they can show it relaxing, and then the reality is that it just takes longer and longer and longer. Then you start to wonder how much is going to be left. But all the models seem to be very confident that that shear is going to be disappearing by later tomorrow, and that this thing is going to start to strengthen pretty rapidly. If uh, if we use the European model, which I think is probably the GFS still wants to take it northeast almost quickly. Uh, but most of the other models don't do that. Here's the Western Atlantic view with the European going through today. And you can see it just sits here. Now we're into Saturday morning, and it's barely moved, but it does. The European does start to bring the pressures down slowly but surely, and then they start to really plummet when we get into Sunday and Monday, tracking just south of the south coast of Jamaica, and then right over Jamaica as it gets down to a 929. So I mean that's a strong Cat 4 as it crosses the island of Jamaica, and it takes. So we're talking, we're talking. Where's Jamaica? I can't even see it on the map because there it is. It's sort of, the storm sort of covers it. So Jamaica is going to be dealing with rains probably beginning on Saturday and lasting until the low center actually passes. That doesn't happen until sometime Wednesday morning. So they're going to be places if this verifies or the rain is going to get measured in feet. And in eastern Cuba, by the way, it's also going to be a really rough go with extremely heavy rain, long duration heavy rains until it crosses over to the other side on Thursday. And then, of course, as the European must have this relationship with Bermuda because every time there's a storm around, it wants to take it to Bermuda. And here it goes again, passing virtually right over the island as a Cat 3. So there you go.
Well, you're right. I agree with you about the fact that rainfall is going to probably be measured in feet. This is really going to be one of those, going to be like a Harvey storm. Remember Harvey with Houston? They got what, 30 inches of rain. This could very well be something along those lines for places like Cuba or even Jamaica.
Okay, back to the U.S. we go. We've got a lot of frost advisories and freeze warnings from southern New Jersey to North Carolina. Actually, just north of me, there's freeze warnings up in western North Carolina. I got to 33 last night. I may get close to that again tonight. And also back through West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and eastern Iowa. So a pretty widespread first frost and freezes here. We have flash flood watches up now for north parts of north central and northeast Texas, as well as a good chunk of central and central Oklahoma, with the next weather system that's going to be moving across the deep south, but that's going to be over the weekend. So we've got another really nice day across the deep south. There was sunshine here, not a cloud in the sky from start to finish. And here's the satellite loop tonight. Still have those instability clouds that have been rotating around this upper low in eastern Canada. So I'm sure you saw some of that today.
Yeah, the day started out reasonably bright with kind of a blend or mix of bright sun and clouds, but by the midday and afternoon, it became more or less cloudy. And now that the air is stabilizing under the cover of darkness and cooler temperatures, we'll see those convective type clouds gradually dissipate and lift away to the north. And by later tonight, skies will be mostly clear. The difference is tomorrow we'll start off with lots of bright sunshine, but we're not going to see very much in the way of cloud cover. I think tomorrow will stay sunny for much of the day. The clouds probably will be banked in well north of us across central and northern New York State, but we should remain pretty well out in the clear. Maybe just some scattered clouds in the afternoon.
The surface map has a cold front drawn from the northeastern corner of New York and extending northward up into Canada, and then runs southward down into northwest Pennsylvania and southern back to southern Michigan. There's no real weather with this front, but there is colder air behind it, and that's going to be coming in starting Saturday. Starting on Saturday and continuing through the weekend and into early next week. Now, when I say colder, I'm not talking about anything crazy, but we're going to be running with below average temperatures into the first part of next week. Satellite loop back to that showing you see all the beautiful clear skies in the mid-Atlantic down to Florida, west through the Gulf states, and then you've got the swirl that you see back in Utah and clouds rolling into Texas. That's starting to set up for tomorrow, where we're going to see showers and thunderstorms break out in Texas, along with some severe weather. And then that's going to be pushing eastward over the weekend. It's going to take the whole weekend for it to move through the Gulf states. And as far as rainfall is concerned, WPC, Joe, has gotten pretty aggressive here with rainfall, which takes us to next Thursday night. They're showing 1.5 to 2.5 inch amounts from southern New England all the way down through most of South Carolina, and then also while it's moving through the southern plains, we're looking at 1.5 to maybe some 3 or 4 inch amounts in parts of Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana. So both of these areas represent this next storm system that's going to be moving through the Gulf states this weekend. But the stuff that you see in the east is for the second half of next week. But that's a lot. I'm a little surprised that they went as high as they did.
Yeah, so am I. But we are advancing through the month of October, Joe, and things are changing in all quarters in the coming days ahead.
All right, let's give SPC a look and see what they're up to tonight. SPC has a three periods of slight risk across northwest Texas into Oklahoma tonight. And I think that comes with a 2% tornado risk. Yes, it does. Tomorrow, a larger risk area that expands eastward into central Texas, marginal risk into Oklahoma, and a 5% tornado risk being indicated now in parts of southwest Texas. Day three, day three is Saturday into Sunday. We have a slight risk for southeast Texas, extending well inland, and also in southwest Louisiana, and that's probably going to come with some tornado risk. I just want to bring up WPC because there's going to be some flash flood risk here too. So here we go. This is the period from Friday into Saturday. They have a 15 to 40% chance for flash flooding, covering a good chunk of Texas into Oklahoma. The marginal risk pushing up into southern Kansas. And on day three, which is for Saturday into Sunday, the slight risk for eastern Texas, much of Louisiana, and extending into Mississippi and in parts of Arkansas. So WPC being bullish on the rainfall. But we've got this weekend for us here in the East, it's all about this gigantic high. That's all I can say is, Joe, if this were January, the snow lovers would be biting their fingernails down to the bone because trying to figure out how this is all going to play out, especially if it wound up with a track to the west. But that high gets up into the 1035-ish range, very strong. And yes, that's cool air that's coming down from eastern Canada that's pushing southward. The rain that's in the Gulf states on Sunday heads over into Kentucky and Tennessee and North Carolina on Monday, gets into Virginia. That first low part of it slides out to the east, part of it gets left behind, and eventually we get another low to form along about later Tuesday and starts to pivot northward. The Europeans got a kind of a very odd look to it. And then Melissa is down in
It almost
Cuba.
looks like you had just a few moments ago. It looks like a question mark. Look at that.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It's bizarre,
There,
but you're
therein,
right.
therein lies the. That's the perfect setup for anybody asking you about what it's going to be like mid late next week. There it is, the question mark.
Yeah, I mean the way the European draws this, it'll be a sizable rain for New England, which would be really good news. But it's still showing on this idea of some kind of coastal storm slash nor'easter. And I still think we have a long way to go in terms of fine tuning all this. But nothing is going to happen really of consequence, certainly through Monday. I think you're right, though, because the model's picking up on some onshore moisture coming in Monday night and Tuesday, so that there might be some light rain or drizzle around come Tuesday, but at least it'll be nice into the first part of Monday. But after
Right.
that, a lot of question marks. Also, with regards to yesterday's Canadian, for those of you who were here last night and we were showing you the bizarre upper air, well, it's a little bit less bizarre today because of the fact that it's not doing all that. I mean, it's trying to retrograde the low westward. It still does, but it's much less vigorous with the whole upper feature, and it doesn't hook up with Melissa this time. It just Melissa gets ejected northeastward out toward Bermuda come next Thursday and Thursday night. I think that makes the most sense. The tropical system doesn't get involved here unless this upper feature were to dig really strongly and further west than it's showing up now. Melissa's not going to be a problem. It's all going to be about the energy that's going to be going into some sort of coastal low. I think that's the way to look at it. That's the Europeans' view. The Canadian today um, the Canadian today is so different from yesterday, where you know the northern feature drives southwestward down the coast, and the other feature it digs it down into Oklahoma and Texas. I really don't understand this model. I just truly do not get it. To me, it's just crazy. And here's the way it looks on the surface. The first low goes out, and look what this rain that it has on Tuesday that comes in from the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and comes back
Right.
westward. That is so strange. It goes away. Melissa goes out. Then you get some other coastal low that forms next weekend and moves up the eastern seaboard. So you know what? It's like toss your hands up in the air. Cecilia, I don't know about the UCMed. I haven't looked at the UCMed in about 2 years. Because, UCMed used to be a really good model to look at it. And in the last couple of years, it's another one that's joined the ranks of the squirrely. You know, I just don't even want to bother with it. So look, the bottom line is your weather's going to be fine at least into Monday. And then after that, we're going to start rolling dice. And we'll see what Melissa does, although I don't think it's going to be a problem for the East Coast. It might wind up being a problem for Bermuda. To me, that makes the most sense. And we'll just leave it at that. So there. You got Briller Jeopardy tonight.
Yes, I do.
You
And
do.
I will get it for you momentarily. And
I
I
don't
think
even want to
Cecilia
sit.
Hernandez asked about Halloween. I'm not sure about Halloween. I think that Thursday is going to be the day before Halloween. Have a fair chance that it's going to be wet. I don't know about Friday yet. I'm not sure whether or not the precip will have moved on out or whether it will still be lingering. And even if it does, linger, there may still be some wetness around. So right now, Joe, I think if you're looking for a dry day for Halloween, I'd say right now, just a little over a week from now, squishful thinking.
I haven't, yeah, I haven't had, this will be my fifth Halloween here, I believe. Let me see, 21, 22, 23, 24. My fifth Halloween here in North Georgia. I haven't had a single trick-or-treater in 5 years, in the last 4 years. And I suspect that I won't have one this year.
Well, we don't get very many up here in Putnam Valley. The main reason is there are no sidewalks for the
Yeah.
kids to walk. You can't. It's just road. That's it. And you
Hmm.
gotta. And if you're gonna be on the road, you gotta make sure you're either on the far left or on the far right, or else you're gonna get hit. So
Yep. Fine
that's
by
the
me. I
thing.
got no candy. If they come to my house, they're going to get a lecture.
Tonight we begin a long series on snow on Briller Jeopardy. What is the average annual snowfall in these 5 cities? The average annual snowfall in the following 5 cities. We start with, well, someplace that's very close to you, Joe, Atlanta. How much snow does Atlanta get, you think?
Oh,
And
I think their normal is what, an inch?
is that your answer?
That's my answer.
Well, a little bit on the low side.
Okay. John M says 2 inches.
Where's the bell? There's the bell. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. 2 inches of snow annually falls in Atlanta. And when they usually fall, it's usually the whole 2 inches and usually cripples the city for
Right.
about
Yeah,
3 days.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That happened well, there were a couple of 2 to 4 inch snowfalls last winter in Atlanta. And here where I am, the average snowfall up here is about 10 to 15. So, um anyway, what's the
Okay.
next one?
Number two is Baltimore.
Baltimore?
Baltimore.
I will say, oh, I'll say 20, 22.
That's not a bad guess. Just a tad too much, but it's a pretty good guess. A
Harold,
respectable guess for
Harold
Baltimore.
Olson says 20, and so does David Fuller.
That's even more respectable. In fact, that puts them in snake country.
Well,
I do
Rothmansky and
have.
Michael Azera at 19.
There you go. And so was Mike Waterhouse Bonsai.
Lord Kate,
19 it is.
CTWTR Shark, Maggie P's at 18, and Mike Waterhouse Bonsai at 19. Okay.
Now here's number 3, Boston. And just remember, was it about 5 years ago? Boston had a all-time record for a year of like
Right.
104 inches or something.
Oh, that was back at 2024, 13, 14, I think, or 12. One of those, 13, 14, or 14, 15. One of those winners.
Great.
For Boston, I'll say 40.
Not enough.
Not enough, he says. Well,
Not
Adam
enough.
Lowe says 43.
Still not enough.
Bobby Livingsworth says 45.
Still not enough.
For Boston, it's higher than 45?
I
Well, Miss Valorite says 47, and Chuck Cardillo says 48.
would you believe that both of those guesses
You know what? That
firmly
doesn't sound. That sounds too high. I'm sorry, but that sounds too high.
I
Rothmansky's at 50.
that's a little bit too high.
All right, so we're zeroing in on Bobby Livingsworth back again at 49.
Mike Waterhouse also had 49, and David Fuller had 49. Wow. A few
I'm
of the
going to
comments.
submit that. I'm going to submit that answer to the
Are you going to
judges.
protest? You're going to
I'm going to
protest that with the
protest.
chairman?
Yeah, I'm going to question that remark, that amount.
Okay. That is your prerogative. Just like I told a few people on my Facebook page the other day, if you don't like it, you don't have to come here anymore. That's
Remember,
your.
yeah, just tell them tough toenails are hard to bite.
Yeah.
Anyway,
How about Buffalo?
Buffalo.
Aha! Buffalo.
Oh, that's got to be a bigger. That is obviously going to be a bigger number. Um, I'm going to say I'll say 75.
Not enough.
Not enough. Um, Patrick Darcy says 94.
That's snake country, Patrick
Okay.
Dorsey. You came very
And
close.
all right, so Maggie P's at 95
And where's the bell?
and Lord
Ta-da!
Kate's at 95.
So there you go.
All right.
And here's number 5 in North Carolina, Charlotte.
Hmm. I'll say 9 for Charlotte.
That's a bit too high.
It's too high. Bobby Livingsworth said 7.
Still a bit too high.
Still a bit too high. Okay. Michael McGuire says 5.
That is almost right there.
Okay. So it's either Maggie P's 4 or Frank R's 6.
And Maggie P with 4 gets it. And she
I'm
gets
gonna.
the bell too. Let me just
Charlotte's a
also tell
weird
you.
place because it's kind of in a valley, and areas around Charlotte get much more. But I guess downtown Charlotte or the airport or wherever it is doesn't. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Let me
Uh,
let me just also tell you. I went on Google, which now has what is known as AI Overview, and asked the
yes.
question, "What is the average snowfall in Boston?"
Hmm.
And AI says the average snowfall in Boston, get this now, Joe, is about 54
I
inches.
saw that. Now the question. My question is it from? Is it Logan? Is it in
Well,
Braintree?
they
Um,
say they say that first of all, they say this can vary significantly by year. The record-breaking winter of 2015, as we just pointed out, seeing 110 inches of snow, but some sources cite a slightly lower average of 43.8 or 44.3 inches for Boston or the state. That's how do you for the state 45? I mean, what about the Berkshires? But in any case, the commonly cited figure for the city of Boston, 54, and they don't mention
I wonder when
specifically.
I wonder when it was when the last time that they got 54 inches or even had a normal snowfall year, because it certainly hasn't been in the last few.
Well, here's something. This is from a website called On the Snow,
Mm,
and they say snow in Boston. Boston's average annual snowfall is 54 inches. The table below shows snow cover in Boston. Note that snowpack levels across Boston are not reported during the off-season period. For each ski resort, you will find blah 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 blah. So
right.
no, this
Frank Gard makes a good point, and it's true. You have to be careful with AI because it does make mistakes.
yeah, of
But
course.
it did not make a mistake on my kitchen because it designed my kitchen for me, and I used the picture that it created, and that's the kitchen I got, and I'm very happy. So there you
Okay.
go.
The
Um,
bonus the bonus city is Nantucket, or
oh God,
the bonus island.
that's on the coast. It's hard to say with them. I mean, because they get big burials if there's some with storms offshore that cut off just inland. On the other hand, they change the rain a lot. I'll say I'll go with Michael McGuire says 24, so I like that. I'll go 24. It might probably be less.
That Snake Country, Mark Franz Sr. had it right with 23, and very close to that was Rich Rothmansky with 22, and Patrick Dorsey at 24, and well, you get the idea.
Gotcha. Okay, we got a couple of days off, and I'm happy about it. I don't know about you. I'm thrilled. So, you have any plans?
Yeah, babysitting tomorrow for our grandson,
Okay.
and then we're going to clean up the property. Haven't done much of that over the last 8 or 9 days, but we'll utilize Saturday and maybe even Sunday for that. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to take advantage of the good weather this weekend.
Okay. Good. I don't have really any. I don't have anything major going on, so I don't have the dog tonight. He's staying at my. He's staying over at Uncle Owen's house.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yes,
Now, is there another dog that
not
Uncle
my
Owen has?
Uncle Owen, my friend Owen, but for JJ, that's his Uncle Owen. And yes, he has Gracie, and
Oh,
JJ and Gracie are like they get along really really well. They spent a week together in Florida. They were chaperones, just so you know. Um, but they really do like each other a lot. So um, he loves going there, and they have a cat. They have two cats, but one of them is in Atlanta right now. Uh, and he JJ JJ gets along with all creatures of all kinds. He loves the cats. He leaves them alone. He lets them play. Play with them. So it's
if
all
my
good.
dog were, if my dog, I'm sorry to say, if my dog was with JJ, my dog would try to bite him.
Hold on a second.
My dog, my dog does not get, he does not get along with any other dog.
Alexa, shut up. I love when Alexa randomly starts talking. I'm sorry, your
See
dog
that?
doesn't get along with other dogs?
No, doesn't.
No? Oh,
By the way, don't say that name loud because then you'll
yeah, I
activate
know.
mine.
Because then I'll set yours off. All right,
Yeah.
folks. I hope everybody has some plans for the weekend to enjoy the nice weather. Maybe some late season apple picking if that's still going on, or some leaf viewing. And we'll be back here Sunday night at 7:35.
Good night, folks, and let's go Blue Jays.
Good night.